Hello, my Crystal Loves Texas podcast family. I haven't seen you live in a minute, and I haven't seen you, Rebecca,
I know.
in like 2 weeks.
We have not seen each other in 2 weeks.
I know, and it seems like a whole lot longer because when that time when we're away and we have to do a rerun, and I don't get to see you.
I know.
I get so sad, but we're back, and with this particular podcast, Rebecca, it's a good one because we're going through some trying times right now.
Oh my God.
I'm not even sure how to explain it, but Rebecca and I are both teachers. You guys know that. Most people know that. Rebecca and I are both teachers. And we both started out in the school district of the city that we're sitting in right now, right, Rebecca?
Mhm.
Okay, both of us are no longer in that district, but there was a lot of turmoil, going on within schools in the city, and a lot of people experienced a lot of ups and downs with that. And today we are going to be talking specifically about something that's pretty hush hush. Why is it hush hush, Rebecca?
Because it's not talked about.
Well,
It's not talked about. It's not addressed. It's often overlooked.
we're going to pull those layers back today.
Yeah.
And we're going to introduce you to two ladies who are coming on today who are going to tell us about an event that is upcoming. It happens to be taking place at my home church and their home church also, but we're going to be talking about that which we don't speak of, and that is mental health and how we need to be put in a position where we're advocating for our own mental health.
Right.
And I'm going to bring these ladies on right now and pop up on the screen. And let's see if I can get both of them up there.
Can you stand up a little bit? Sorry.
Oh, absolutely. First, we've got Danita Day. Hi, Danita.
Hi, how are you?
And I am trying to get. Oh, there she is. There
There
she
she
is.
is.
Deidre. Hi, Deidre. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Deidre?
Yes, I can. Hello, how are you all?
Hello. Can you hear me, Danita?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Perfect. We did that. Yay, Rebecca. That
Yay.
was seamless.
Yay.
Ladies, thank you so much for coming on today. And this is important because I'm gonna tell you this. Even back 10 years ago, you didn't see podcasts or talk shows or
Right.
anything like that about this topic, especially as it relates to the African American community.
Right,
Yes.
right, right,
And
right.
ladies, the first thing I want you to do, can you both, starting with Danita, can you introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you serve the community right now in that capacity. And then we're going to talk about how it was decided that this was something that was very much needed in the community.
Okay, well, that last part, I'm sure I'm going to get blamed for, so let me go ahead and take that one right now. But
Mhm.
my name is Danita Day. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. Like you ladies, public school educator in 3 different districts in this city. I've been in the larger districts. Currently, I'm a
Yes.
mental health counselor. I also have my own private practice. I've been a school counselor at 3 different levels.
Wow.
And the reason why I started as a mental health counselor, I started as a school counselor, and it was not my idea. My kids came in early one day. There were some things going on in the neighborhood. I was on hall duty, and I walked in my classroom, and the chairs were in a circle. And I was like, "What are we doing? This is not the way we take our tests. This is not the way we learn." They said, Danita, we have a circle time. We have problems. I'm like, what is a circle time? And who said we were doing it in my class?
Rebecca does them. Yes.
I do them.
And I did them toward the end, but that was the time when I realized there's no way you can teach a child that is coming to school with a problem.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so when I
Thank
went to
you.
grad school, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing. So even before I went back to the district, I was working at the Harris Center for Mental Health and IDD. So when I say
Wow.
this is my passion for kids and adults, and especially people of color, I
Mhm.
do
Yes.
mean this is my passion. Sometimes it might be my obsession, and then I take a nap and know that I've done too much. So
Mhm.
that is who I
Okay, and Miss Deidre, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
I am Deirdre Collette Jackson,
am.
and I am a Houstonian. I'm a Southside girl to my heart. Uh, I graduated from the largest school district in this city. However, I have been at that particular district, and I'm currently at the district in where Danita and I met. But
Wow.
mental health is amazing to me because of the simple fact that it is something that we need. Like Danita said, it's the first for us in school, it's the first time that a child of color will come in contact with someone who tells them about their care. Right?
Right.
It's somewhere where they have an objective place where someone hears your voice. If there's no counselor in the school, then there is no grounding for a student. There's
Can you
no
say that one more time? Because people think counseling is not important in school.
Oh, there is no grounding without a counselor. You
Yeah.
have to have someone there beyond the academic control. Currently, I'm an academic counselor in the school. However, I'm in a program where I'm on multiple phase. I do several things, but I see everything in my building, and I make sure that I'm available for everything. And so, it is their first inclination for someone in the healthcare profession as it pertains to mental health. They have to have them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And the event that's coming up next
Mhm.
week, ladies, kind of explain why this kind of event, especially something that is open to the public, is so important, because just like you both said, when you have a child that
Mhm.
comes into the classroom who is under duress,
Mhm. Mhm.
they're coming from a home that's under duress. And a lot of times the parents, I'm in the classroom with them. So I see it every day, just like you said that you see it. That, like that, you guys have seen it. And before you can even get through to them to do anything, you've got that particular barrier that has to be overcome.
Mhm.
And the parents just, these days, a lot of times they just don't have the tools, not of any fault of their own, but many are young parents.
Yes.
Right.
Many come from households where where they did not see it modeled,
Mhm.
good mental health care.
Mhm.
And and that's very pervasive in our community. Why do you think that is?
Uh, for me, kind of in my opinion, I wish I could say that it's just the young parents. But unfortunately, this challenge is going through all age levels. And the reason is because in our demographic, for our group of people, for all people of color, you don't discuss mental health.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go to the church and talk
And
about
Yes.
it.
pray
You're
about it.
supposed to lay it on the altar. And I'm all for laying it on the altar. I laid it on the altar when I had my two cancers, but I asked for healing and for great doctors that could meet my crazy where
There
I
you
am
go.
and understood
Mhm.
that I
Right.
needed it out. And
Amen.
so this is new for our parents. You used to hear them say, well, she got a little touch or something. There's a little
Mhm.
Yeah.
something going on, but
Mhm.
nobody ever talked about what it was. And so now you have kids going home and they're trying to talk to their parents, or parents are trying to talk to each other, and everybody is sitting back saying, well, when I was your age, I went through this and I went through that, and what's wrong with you? Why can't you make it? And the kids are internalizing that, and they're saying, well, if they went through it and they made it and I
Mhm.
can't, then I am the problem. So nobody
Right.
has learned how to listen.
Mhm.
So
And then,
that's
truth be
part of it.
told, the parents didn't make it through. They just
No.
suppressed and repressed, and it manifested into something that was much bigger.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
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 And we see it every day. So
Mhm.
if I am a parent, um, Danita and Deidre, if I'm a parent of a school age kid, like a
Mhm.
lot of our parents are at the higher weight.
Mhm.
And it is very difficult for me to cope with what's going on. And a lot of times you may have a single parent.
Right.
Why would coming to the event, and I'm going to pull up the banner so that
Mhm.
everybody can kind of look at what's going to be actually happening. Why would coming to an event like this be something that we want to make sure that
Mhm.
we're able to do?
One of the reasons why it's important is because it's we're using the church as a vessel.
Yes,
Right. The church is a vessel. Oftentimes, people use spirituality and religion as a barrier for why they cannot access mental health. If it
yes,
had not been for the church, we would not have civil rights. So we're breaking another barrier by adding and letting them know that the church does suppress or supports all facets of health. And so this event will give them access to all of the resources that are here in Houston, not just let me pray on it or let's not talk
right.
about it. But this is an opportunity for them to know what resources they have at their hands in their city, and they can learn coping skills. And also they can find out what they're doing right. We often think they're doing some things
Yes.
wrong, but they can find out some things that they're doing right.
Okay. And Danita, can you tell us a little bit about the event itself? Tell us the
Yeah.
name of it and when it's taking place.
The name of it is Our Mind Matters. And the reason why we're doing it, especially in the month of July, many of you know author B.B. Moore Campbell, and you know of her daughter Maia Campbell that used to
Right.
be on the TV show with
Yes,
LL Cool J.
all in the
She had
house.
several mental health
Yes.
issues, and
Mhm.
her
Yes.
mom was a pioneer, and she brought NAMI
Mhm.
into California, into their neighborhood to help those people. And because of that, Mental Health Month isn't just Black and other indigenous people of color. It's really known as the B.B. Campbell Moore Mental Health Month because we have to reach each other. If we don't reach back and grab each other, if we don't pull our kids up, literally, there's not going to be anybody to take care of the rest of us soon. So we've got to nurture them now so that they can love on us later.
And when is it coming up?
It is coming up July 19th. That's a Saturday. It's
Yes.
from 10 to 12 p.m. There will be different topics. And guess
Mhm.
what? Once you guys come in,
Right.
we're going to have the speakers rotate so you guys can stay relaxed and
Wow.
they're going to come to you. You'll
Mhm.
have multiple topics you can learn about. You'll learn about the difference between self injury and suicide. You'll have
Okay.
depression and anxiety. You'll learn about grief. You'll learn about PTSD and medication management because our
So
parents do
important.
not know
Mhm.
behavior health medication is not like taking an antibiotic. You don't take it for 14 days and your child is cured. So we've
Right.
got to learn how those things manifest themselves.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Deidre, let me ask you this.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when if a person is not, because a lot of people will be watching this podcast
Mhm.
who do not have any affiliation with the Higher Way Church.
Mhm.
If a person is not affiliated with the church, is this something that's open to the public?
It is open to the community. We are working with these organizations so that the community will know that they have access to them. So, welcome one, welcome all. We're looking forward to serving everyone in our community so that they can have these resources. It's not just a church thing, it's a community thing.
And let me ask you this, ladies. One aspect of mental health, especially in the African American communities, and I'm gonna reach further and even say in minority communities, period.
Mhm. Mhm.
Males
Mhm.
are a very, very difficult demographic to reach when it
Mhm.
comes to seeking mental health care.
Right.
And so many times, you see of things happening, you see of these murder suicides, it seems like almost every week.
Right.
Right.
And they're not able to cope with things like the loss of a relationship,
Right.
Mhm.
the loss of a spouse,
Rejection.
rejection.
Mhm.
And you're seeing it more and more Why is it important for men to reach out and take advantage of some of these resources that are available now?
I'm gonna step in right here because we have taught our young boys, hey, suck it up,
Yeah.
don't cry.
Yeah.
We have created a vacuum of men who do not know how to be emotional. They
Mm-hmm.
do not know what to do with their emotions. And oftentimes we see anger, that's the tip of the iceberg. We
Yes.
see anger is the one is reactionary. That's the one that you can see. But everything else is below them is uh, depression, isolation. All of those things are there. It is important for men to be there so that they know that there is a place where they can be a safe refuge for
And
them to be and gain those resources.
Right.
I was reading a statistic and it
Mhm.
startled me.
Right.
They said that on average, in the last 3 or 4 years, 600,000 men have committed suicide
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
versus that of 70,000 women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
600,000 men within the last 4 year period.
Is this
Yeah.
worldwide?
Yeah.
In
Yes.
the United States. No,
Yeah.
this was in the United States.
Yes. Mm.
600,000 men have committed suicide
Why is
versus
that?
70,000.
Because
The only
women
thing
think
that
about
I could think of, the only
Right.
thing that I could think of, and you guys will tell me wrong, right or wrong, I think with women, we have a tendency to build community with each other.
Yes.
part of it.
Yes.
And we have, and I could be wrong, but this is just my theory.
Mhm.
We tend to build community with each other, and we have deep interpersonal relationships with each other.
Well,
So
here
it,
is the bigger problem. Women will not deny that they're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
even
true.
when brothers have that community, because they do have the community,
okay,
they're not going to admit to
That's
having these thoughts
that's a weakness.
because for
Yes.
them it's a weakness. And so when Deirdre was talking about them being able to talk about it, what she and I both call it, whether it's a male, whether it's a female, whether you're in a relationship, we call it a soft place to land.
Brand.
Right.
And so they need to come so they can be made aware you do have a soft place to land. You can
Right.
have a male therapist, you can have a female therapist, and we're going to hear you out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she and I both don't just see teens and adolescents and adults, we also see couples.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so we have both had couples come in, and men have said to the wives, listen, now I'm going to see Danita because I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get
Yeah.
better. And now if
Right.
we gonna save this relationship, I
Right.
suggest you show up when I show up. And
Right.
that's a great thing. When men commit to therapy,
Right.
you got a good thing. Those are some great sessions when they commit.
Mm-hmm.
They learn so very quickly because they're ready. They're like, I'm not gonna be weak. So I'm gonna
Right.
do what I have to do. And then they're in a place where they can open up and learn. So it's great when they come.
You
But
know, yeah, go
excuse me,
ahead.
I'm sorry. When she was talking about the number of people, men are, and hate that they are black and white. They're solution focused.
Yes.
When
Yes.
when they're thinking, women, we think about a lot of things. We ponder, and you're right, they do have the community. But men, when they're at that desperation point, at that point, they are more likely to follow through.
Mhm.
Women,
Okay.
we won't follow through as much. And
Right.
so that's where you see the numbers, why the numbers are high. And scaringly and alarmingly enough, they're increasing in our black male youth.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to get our mothers and our fathers and our grandmothers equipped to hear them. And so if they're not being heard, we're putting out more hurt men in the community.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
of late, I have heard, and actually, I believe this was on Good Morning America, and I think it was on a Saturday that I saw this.
Yep.
I saw three African American male athletes come
Mhm.
forward and talk about their mental health struggles and how
Mhm.
they are in therapy and they've been in therapy for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And when our boys can see this type of thing, I
Mhm.
think that is going to have a major impact on
Right,
what they feel is acceptable for a man to do.
and
right.
do you also think it's because men don't readily admit that they have a problem? Like,
They're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Men,
I know.
especially black men. Black
Yeah.
men are supposed to wear that S on their chest every day, all day. They are never supposed to turn back into Clark Kent and
Mm.
be human. And so
Wow.
that S is tiring.
Right.
And if you never take it off, then you are pulled down and further down every day of the week because you don't have anybody else to say, hey, give me 10. I need to
Yeah.
be human.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Also, another thing that I've run into just talking with
Hmm.
friends of mine, I don't think, just in the mental health arena and the trauma, I think a lot of trauma has not been talked about.
Hmm.
Um, and my friends and I have discussed this when they talk to their other male friends. And one of the things that, we bring up is, not to sound vulgar or be vulgar, a lot of them don't even know when they've been like sexually assaulted and molested, right?
Hmm.
So I've had my guy friends brag to me,
Yes.
"Oh, I lost my virginity at 9 years old," or "I lost my virginity at 8 and 12," and then I have to stop and tell them, "No, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
You were assaulted.
That's right.
Right.
That's
Hmm.
the difference,"
Right.
and they cannot see that. They
There's
no.
anything wrong with it.
No,
It's almost a point of pride.
no, no, no. I was not assaulted.
Yeah.
I wasn't. It was consensual. You can't consent to
You had
anything at 8 and 9
no.
years old.
Right. But
Mm.
you know what? For them, you got to think when a man, we can say, loses a virginity. Let's talk about giving it up, y'all. Let's call a thing a thing.
Yeah.
But when it happens, it's now a badge of honor. You
Hmm.
know, you
Exactly.
12 and you had a 30-year-old woman and you
Yeah.
think that you turned her on. You didn't think that she
Right.
was taking advantage of you.
That's
Right.
right.
For them, it's a skill that they learned. And that's
And
the
we
way they look at it.
and we've
Yes.
had guests, and I'm not going to call them by name, that have
Hmm.
come on before and
Yeah.
sat and talked to us about how they were molested by male. These are male guests,
Yes,
Yeah.
of
really
course.
tough guys. How
Hmm.
they were molested by female relatives that
Hmm.
they were living with, and they had to live with these particular people, because the parents were not in the picture at that time, so they
Hmm.
really didn't have a choice,
Right.
But even with that,
and they broke down and
for
cried.
a lot of
Yeah.
them, when you had to explain to them, no, 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 this was not consensual. You can't make them understand
Now,
that
Right.
none of this was not consensual. You
Right.
can't make
now
them.
our guests were able to go through therapy
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
understand that because they broke down and cried about
Right.
that, and one of them was a pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, um, for them to be so vulnerable, I think that when other men are able to see
Yeah.
men that they
Yeah.
look up to
Hmm.
say that this is something that happened to me,
Right.
then it's not so taboo to seek help for it. Because the
Right.
thing about it is, you know, I would hate to think that there are fathers out there who are
Mm.
not encouraging, but dapping up their
No,
sons.
they
Is
are.
that
They are.
Ye-
And you hear the
Yes.
rappers even brag about it
Okay.
on
Yes.
social media. You
Well,
hear
one
them brag about it.
Crystal, one of the things, one of the things we have to talk about is, and Danita and I both go over this in
uh-huh.
our sessions, boundaries.
Yes.
We have to teach our kids very, very early to own that they own the right to say no to their bodies, male and
Right.
female. And so you're like, oh, go sit over there with Uncle Frank. And the baby's telling you no, he don't want to sit
Yeah,
with Uncle Frank, but
that's
girl,
right.
just go over there and push him over. So that's the very first things that we tell people. You have a right with personal boundaries, you have sexual boundaries, you have economical boundaries. And so we have to give that structure to them that
Right.
that we must give that we must give them and let
Yes.
them know that they
Yes.
have the right to say no. And
Yes.
sexual abuse and trauma is always a taboo thing in our community
And
because
right. And I think we spend so much time focused on the girls,
Yes.
putting boundaries on the girls and
Right.
saying, I don't think we spend enough time with our boys and tell them things.
right, right.
It's always we try to tell the girls, stranger danger. If they touch you here, but I don't see that same energy, even in today's time, with
Right.
the
Well, okay,
information that we have.
here is something you guys need to know though.
Yeah.
The teenage boys are actually a lot better
Mhm.
at setting those boundaries.
Mhm.
Wow, really?
They are now. Now, listen, unless how can I put this? She is deemed as a very talented young lady.
Right.
Mhm.
Or attractive.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
They will set that boundary. Unfortunately, for girls, we have moms encouraging these long-term relationships where they're in relationships at seventh and eighth grade and they're still in those relationships in high school, and nobody understands why you having a breakdown and you don't want to go to college, you don't want to get a job because you
Right.
can't live without this boy. But
Right.
mama encouraged that because there was a challenge in mom's life. And
Mhm.
Right.
so now this girl is using this boy as
That's
somebody
right.
to fulfill her need.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the
Right.
boys don't. They're like, okay, Miss, I know she needs somebody. No, she doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Let her talk to us. You got to get your life. Otherwise, she's going to pull you down. And so
Yes.
there are a lot of factors that are happening right now. For the girls, it's coming from moms that also have challenges.
Mhm.
Right.
For the boys, the flip side is it's encouragement to be a man. It's
Mhm.
Right.
There you
encouragement
go.
to
Thank
juggle.
you.
And listen, I am a girl who attended a public high school in Chicago with 5,000 people. And my mother was like, TikTok, Danita, it's
5,000
been 30
people.
days. You better find another boyfriend. You are not falling in love. He is not
Right.
coming to my house. I don't need to meet his parents. You don't need to meet No, none of that. TikTok, get another one.
Yeah.
So the guy, no, she did. It's okay. I'm gonna get a headache later because she's gonna hit me in the back of my head. But that was the reality. And so now there's so many people again being encouraged into being in these long-term relationships.
Yeah,
And
because
Well,
so
they
if you're
yeah.
young.
not in
Yeah.
a
Like we
relationship,
hear,
there's something wrong.
Well,
we
let's
hear
say
in the
this.
hallway
Yeah.
arguing and fighting like they in marriages. It's like,
Yeah.
what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
But
And also, we
relationships
got.
are codependency. It's a
Yes.
That's right.
addiction. It's addiction. A relationship, that's something to fill a hole. Some people
That's
use
right.
candy. Some people use shoes.
That's
Some
right.
people, so that they are using relationships, and that's what they've learned from their families. That's a learned
Yes.
behavior.
Oh.
That's
Codependency
right.
is a real issue.
But
And
you know what,
yeah.
D? What's funny is, I told you this, and I need to share this with the ladies. One of my girls called the young man utilizable.
Mm.
I said, did you say utilizable? Precious, that's
Huh?
not even a word.
Mm.
But she was taught to
Mhm.
use.
Yeah.
And so that's what she was doing.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have a comment here, and I want to acknowledge this comment. And this came from a man. He says, "Is there a place for suck it up parenting by fathers in some situations?"
Is there a place for suck it up parenting?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is we all come from a different generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that suck it up also came with love and encouragement.
That's
Right.
And
right.
so if
Yeah.
you're giving the love and encouragement, absolutely you better give that suck it up because
Yeah.
then you're going to have a conversation.
That's
The
right.
problem with our kids, they're only getting
There's
the
no
suck it
relation.
up.
Yes, there's no
They're
relationship.
not getting a relationship. They don't have a relationship
Right.
with their parents, with their moms. They're coming to school creating whole families. This is my daddy, this is my uncle, this is my mama because they
Yeah.
don't have that.
They don't have that.
Wow. That is really something.
Yeah.
So
And this is why they call us mama all the time.
yeah, and
Yes.
they come and
Yes.
they want, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
let me say this. I'm gonna pull up that flyer one more time, and I
Mhm.
want you all to reiterate for me, if you will,
Mhm.
um, exactly when the event is coming up. It is called Our Minds Matter. And
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is July, Mental Health Month.
Yes.
Go ahead, Deidre, and tell us about the date again and the time
It's
and
going to be
and the location.
it's going to be at Jones Higher Way Church.
Yes, ma'am.
It's July the 19th. That is a Saturday away from here. Time is 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon, and you're going to be inundated with a number of resources from this community here in the Houston area. Everybody is welcome. All are welcome.
And it is for men and women.
It's
Um,
Yes,
men, women, children. We're looking for
okay,
families to come out.
absolutely.
We're looking for
okay,
families
very,
to come out. Yes, ma'am.
very good, very good. Okay, then, ladies, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. We're going to make sure that we get that flyer and the address posted in the comments so that people can scan that QR code and
Right.
register. Is there a registration and is there a fee?
No, no
Free.
fee. They
No.
can register on the on the Q using the QR code on the flyer. But guess what? If they don't register, I need everybody to show up by 9:30 on Saturday
I know
morning.
that's
We
coming.
will get you just
So we're
into a
not even using
session.
that as an
It'll be a
excuse.
sign-in sheet. You'll have
Mhm.
some
Yeah.
place to go. You'll have a designated area. We got you. We need you to show up and show out, and we're gonna try to do the same thing for you.
Yes.
It won't be no turnaround because you didn't register.
No,
No. No.
no,
No.
no.
We want people
Okay,
to take care of their mental health as a
that's
total,
right. That's
from
right.
head to
Well,
toe. We need everybody taking care of themselves from head to toe.
Yes.
that's right. That's right. Well, Danita and Deidre, I want to thank you all both so much for coming on and sharing this with us, and especially inviting out, opening this up to the community.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because so many times people will say, "I just, I didn't know that there were resources." Well, here it is.
Mhm,
Here it
mhm,
is.
mhm. Absolutely. Thank you for having us. We
You,
greatly
Crystal loves
appreciate that.
Texas. Yes,
Thank you all so much,
we
and
appreciate it.
we will see you on next Saturday. Is that right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
All
See you
right.
later. Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Okay, Rebecca. Wow, that's gonna be a good. That's gonna be a good conference. That's gonna be a good
Exactly.
conference, and that's not all. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of self care that's happening this month, and this is
Ooh. And you
one.
know I love me some good self care.
That's right. And the next lady that's coming on, she is going to be telling us about an event that's coming up. It's coming up on the same day, but it's a different type of event with for a different audience, but nonetheless very, very necessary. And let me bring her on right now. And there she is. This is
Hello,
hello. How are you? This is
I'm
Kanae
well.
Turner Osborne. And Kanae, tell us a little bit about your event that's coming up this month.
Absolutely. So we are July is it is Minority Mental Health Month, but it's also Uterine Fibroid Awareness Month. This
Wow.
was a bill that was first passed in 2021 in Texas by Representative Symphonia Thompson out of Houston. And
Nice.
my organization worked with her and other providers to establish July as Texas Fibroid Awareness Month. And so ever since 2022 and on, we've been working with, in July, we are up to 5 cities each Saturday almost, except the first, we give
Wow.
people their 4th of July weekend, but we have gone to 5 cities: Fort Worth, Dallas, Tyler, Beaumont, and Houston, with providing
Wow.
a self care space for women or people that are dealing with uterine fibroids.
And can I, when we were talking about this yesterday, I wasn't aware that so many people, that this was something that was such a profound impact on so many people's lives.
Yes, absolutely. The data, and it's the data is getting better. I will say
Yes.
also with that bill of just having, Texas July as Fibroid Awareness Month, we also had a companion bill to ensure that we are collecting proper data when it comes to uterine fibroids, how many individuals are getting it. We know that up to 81% of Black women are getting it,
Wow.
about 70% of white women by the age of 50. But there's
Wow.
a silence when it comes to Hispanic women or AAPI women. And so we
Right.
wanted to collect more data to ensure that there's data and proper
Yeah.
resources, and again, more treatment options to help women go through this critical, painful condition.
And I'm going to pull up the flyer now. So tell us a little bit about the forum.
Absolutely. So in 2022, we initially launched this with our partners, Fibroid Institute of Texas. They provide uterine fibroid embolization. It's a form of treatment
Okay.
that's
That's what I
minimally
got.
invasive, but they have always worked with us. And we have done a self-care fair. So it used to be kind of a healthcare fair meet pop-up shop, and we was like, hey, we want y'all to get your shopping, feel good about yourself. But then later on, we worked with the city of Dallas to do a mind, body, and soul, the impact of fibroids. And so we had a conversation for people who doctors that treat fibroids, with a psychologist that have worked with women regarding fibroids, and then someone with a love experience. And we got really
Yes.
great feedback on that panel, and just how women just wanted a space to know that they're not alone going through this. What are the other options? How are other people dealing with that? So we expanded it started out as a lunch and learn, and now we are doing it at Fort Worth, Dallas, and then next week in Houston with this forum. We start last year was our first time having the forum format of this conversation, and it was great response. We have individuals that are now married or having talked about their journey of trying to go through birth, the trials of having birth with fibroids. And so
Yeah.
we learn every time. It's like women's like, wow, I did not know that. I'm glad to have other people who are going through this journey with me. I did not know other people felt like that. It just seemed like, I would say, for a long time, fibroids, because it's a non-cancerous condition, people just overlook
It's not as serious.
It's
Yeah.
not serious, and they don't talk about it. Even within families in Fort Worth last year, a good friend of mine, I had her on the panel with her daughter.
Right.
Her and her daughter both dealt with fibroids, and they even talked about even their journey, how it was different from each other, but
Yes.
the same. And how, I will say this with Black communities, sometimes we don't talk even to our kids sometimes about what our health conditions. Every time we go to the hospital or the doctor's office, they ask about the family history.
Right.
But then sometimes we like, well, I think they had this. I think they had that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you dealt with this too?
Right.
Until it's like super late or not. And thank God it's not taking lives, but it is still like, well, this is painful. I have something hidden in my bag. I'm not walking correctly. It's growing. What is this?
Right.
And sometimes it's
And
like,
I
oh,
was,
this might be fibroids.
and I think Crystal and I both dealt with it.
Oh yeah.
I had the
And myself, my mother, and my sister dealt with it.
I had the fibroid embolization back in 2019, where I had to have 2 rounds of surgery for that. Just having I always thought, because I was a bigger girl, that I had heavier flows. Not understanding the whole time it had nothing to do with weight. It had everything to do with fibroids.
Absolutely.
And it was a very lonely experience for me, because
you didn't even share much with us about it, and I'm one of your closest friends.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to process the constant lab work, the constant doctor's appointments.
Right.
I think I was stuck over 20 times. I mean, it was so bad in one of my lab visits where I just broke down and cried, because I was like emotionally tired of getting all this stuff done. And I was in and out of I was in and out of the hospitals and doctors' offices for 6 months straight before
Yeah.
I had to. So it was emotionally taxing. It was financially taxing. Luckily, I did have a good
Yeah.
insurance plan to help me with that. But nobody ever talked to me about the emotional toll
Mhm.
that it took. I mean, I even lost a relationship because he thought that I couldn't conceive. And
Mm.
I didn't have the verbiage to try to explain to him what was going on. All he heard was, "Oh, so you might not have a baby for me one day."
Mhm.
And I can't deal with that. I want a legacy. So like you said, there are things that come with having fibroids. It may
Yeah.
not be cancerous, but it's
It
emotional.
could be life altering.
It
things
is.
that
Yeah,
come
and
with it.
Kane, when we talked yesterday,
Mhm.
that's one thing that we were talking about, that people don't realize that can definitely impact relationships.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I, even with myself, I initially had dealt with fibroids. I was young, and I did same here. I thought it was weight wise, and they don't give you much information.
Right.
And because I just had the symptoms of like a heavy period, off period, seemed like I was
Yeah.
always dealing. Okay, let me get birth control. Let's try to regulate it. It's getting
Right.
regulated. It was at a point that I think it was more weeks that I was on a period than off a period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that does affect intimacy.
Right.
That and you're like, what's going on? And then luckily I have not had any of those main cramping or bad things, but it
Oh,
was,
I had all of that headaches.
oh my,
Bad. My cramps would be so bad that the only thing that I could do was curl up on the floor and sleep.
that's what
Like,
I,
I mean, and I would double dose on Aleve. I would take 4 and 5 pills, and then that's just to get through the night. And we're not even talking about during the
mm-mm.
daytime, where I was taking medicine all during the day, and I was so sleepy at times where I couldn't even function at work.
Yes, and I have a relative, a very close relative, who was dealing with very painful periods, and heavy periods, and terrible cramps, and um she's young, so she had not gone to the doctor. She was just having to tough this out, and recently she was able to go ahead and have her first well woman exam.
Mhm.
But we want people to know, just like you, Kane, with this forum, is that there are some groundbreaking treatments.
Yeah.
There are some real hope for people, so that they don't have to just suffer through anymore.
Absolutely. And probably when you also think about fibroids, you think of hysterectomy. When you're like, well, I still, even
Yeah.
myself, and I went on and checked, and thank God, I don't know what happened. I'm just put to the grace of God. They're no longer there because, and
Wow.
I just pray, and sometimes they will go away, but
Right.
when sometimes they don't, and you're
Right.
still in, even with my age, I know I'm getting older, but I don't have any kids, so I know that's something I want to have. So
Right.
with that triggered me to go check. Okay, let's see, do I have it? Because when it's time
Right.
for me to have kids, will I be able to conceive? I
What are
don't
your
want to get a
options?
hysterectomy
Right.
when I know I want to conceive. We're not taking this uterus out, and that's
Right.
have been a lot of OBGYN go to of like, well, I guess you get a hysterectomy to get rid of it. And
And for me, it was so bad. I said, you know what? If I gotta have one, I gotta have one. I'll just adopt, because I cannot keep going through this pain every single month. And the doctor was like, "Well, we don't want
That to be an option. Yeah.
No, we're not
yes,
even presenting that option to
Right.
you,
Right.
because I was still young. Well,
yeah,
Of
yeah,
childbearing age.
I was still,
Right.
I'm still in
childbearing
childbearing
age.
age, but
Yes,
yeah, I was, heavily in childbearing age. So they was just like, you know what? No, these are the options. And thank God for Dr. Hardy and Dr. Fox. Lord Jesus, thank God for them, because they, sat there and they counseled me, and they gave me good advice, and they explained
Your
everything
options.
that
Yeah.
I could do. But it was it was almost like it was, and people used to think all the time, like, well, I got periods every month and they not that bad,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's just like,
Unless they dealt with it.
yeah. But it was
And you know what?
horrible.
It's not that much info. Now it is. I every time it seemed like ever since I got into this work, I see it on television. I see it with the housewives. We have
Yes.
Housewives with Potomac, with Giselle. We have Cynthia Bailey talking about it. I'm seeing it on TV shows
Right.
with The Game, Harlem. And now recently Venus Williams talking about her journey
Right.
with fibroids, falling out
Oh,
at a
and
Grand
Michelle Obama talked
Slam.
about it in one of her episodes.
Yes,
Michelle
and
Obama talked about it in one of her podcasts about some of her staffers who was suffering through it.
it's like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we're talking about this now, because now women know how to advocate, and that is why
Right.
we're providing it. Because you're right, you were probably going back to the doctor. It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on. Oh, they want to say, oh, you need to lose weight, that's why you have heavy periods, or you need to
Right.
eat this, you need to do that, and you're like, well, that's not it. You don't know how to really advocate when they're not. You're coming to them for the solution,
Right.
and you're like, this is not it. So how can I advocate for myself? And so that's why we're providing this space, so you can know how to advocate for yourself,
Yes.
from the providers that know the signs, who know different options. If they
Right.
can't provide it to you, they know have resources of other treatments that can provide. And then you also talked about this cost. We have a also panel to talk about the impact, financial impact,
Right. Mhm.
medical bills, taking off from work. You gonna
Yes.
eventually, if you don't work for yourself or have unlimited sick days, you're gonna eventually run out of your sick days. So that's
Right.
interfering with your livelihood. So
That's
how
right.
can we navigate with these symptoms, the impact financially, mentally, spiritually, and physically?
Okay, Kanae, let me say this. I want you to go back to those numbers that you just talked about,
Mhm.
for the amount of women who will be impacted by this. You said in the general population, it's this much, and then in the African American population, it's this much. But based on what you just said, that's going to be in the population just as a whole, most women in their lives.
Absolutely. So I, these numbers might be a little bit older, but in the United States, I believe recently, and I need to kind of Google this,
Okay,
U.S. population.
but
Yeah, so the
it may be a
U.S.
guesstimate.
population
Yes,
is about 340 million.
right.
Estimated 26 million in the United States, 26 million women will be affected by fibroids,
Wow.
between the age of 15 to 50, and mostly are Black women. About 80% of Black women will
So
receive.
And,
can you?
and you even said that with those same age demographics, about 70% of Caucasian women at some point in
Yes.
their lives. That's most women, period.
So then, why do you think that the African American numbers are as high? Is it because of genetics, or because, like Crystal said, all the women in her family, and both my grandmothers
I know
and my mom?
there may be a hereditary aspect to
Yeah,
that
It
too,
might be
right?
a hereditary
because
aspect,
my
but
mom
I
had a
will.
hysterectomy with me after 6 days after I was born.
Right.
Woo.
Yeah.
So I think, just like any other health condition, um, Black people are most likely with diabetes, most likely with heart cancer, most like I I what we have seen overall when it comes to health is those social economics issues, what are the environment, living in food deserts, not providing the right type of food for healthiness. What type of environment are we living in regarding health, when it comes to breathing, and they pass on genetically. So I think, and I'm saying, I'm thinking what the researcher is saying when it comes to most other diabetes, health, any health issue, black women, black people are always at the top, and that also they now have started looking at the social economic effects to our health. So looking at our
Yes.
environments where we're growing up, looking at what we have access to, looking to our livable wages, looking into our family structures. Do we have access to quality health care? Is there, like, we going back to the advocacy, the training when it comes to some of these doctors, when it comes to sensitivity training, do they know how to actually deal with their patients, what to search for? So all of those factor in together.
And you know what, Kanae? Even back when I was being treated for fibroids, and this was back in the early 2000s, um, one thing that my doctor said that I do believe, and it ties into everything that you're saying right now. One thing I do believe is very true. He said so much of this and why women are getting fibroids, especially African American women. It is There is a strong relation to stress levels.
Stress
Ev-
level, yes.
yes, everything that you just mentioned, socioeconomics, living, uh, um, environment, all of those are stressors.
And I forgot also, they have said, because the stress will feed, the fibroid will feed on
Yes,
stress.
yes.
It also said the creamy crack. A lot of us was in this to the getting the creamy crack, those perms.
Wow.
They have research have recently found that that has contributed
To
to
fibroids.
fibroids. Yes.
Wow. And for people who are not familiar with that term, those are relaxers that a lot of people were getting. Yeah, perms that people were getting
Relaxers,
back in
yes.
the 2000s and the 90s.
the
Yeah,
early 80s.
that's right. That's right. Well, Kanae, let me ask you this: who is the forum open to, and is there a fee involved?
Yes, the form is totally free. It is open to, we say the community, but we are definitely for our women, people who are people with uterus. We are a very inclusive group. So if you have a uterus or you are in a relationship with somebody that has a uterus, and they have been affected by fibroids, please come out.
And this, and even when we're in school, and I have to teach sensitivity
Yes.
to the boys, I have to teach sensitivity, and you think this is something that
People would just be.
yeah. I have to tell them like this is a natural part of a girl's life.
Yes.
So, this is not something to make fun of her with. This is not nasty. This is not, this is a natural part. I have to keep it
Yes.
reiterating to
And
them.
and it starts so young with us, with especially African American girls. And one of the things that we do ask for people to do is free, but we ask you to bring period products, feminine hygiene, because we will be donating it to a local high school. Period poverty is at a all-time high. I will say just even buying tampons and pads for myself every time I go, I'm like $15. We did 15,
Right.
11, 14. I'm like,
That's
oh my
right.
God. So just imagine for an individual who don't have the money to
Right.
get it. It shouldn't be that high. I think that eventually, and don't misquote me, I know one time in Texas, they were fighting to even remove the taxes that comes with
Right. Yeah, because why am I tampons and pads being taxed? That is crazy.
that is crazy. That is something we need
Yeah.
on a monthly basis, if not more.
Right.
So we are donating those items to the local high school. Last year we gave it to Jackie Yates High School.
Awesome.
Those
Awesome.
products, absolutely. And so we
Right.
ask you all to come. Even y'all can go to our sisters form. I saw it was like 10 to 12. We are 10 to 2. So after y'all are done with higher, I already missed the
With the
mental
mental health, with the
the
mental health,
mental
yeah.
health form, because I saw they are on Amia Genoa. Just come on down to Third Ward
That's right.
to join us. Yeah, after Higher Way, just come on down the street and get our second half of our event.
Well, Kanae, tell me again about some of the resources that you all will have on hand.
Yes, absolutely. So our first conversation will be about the financial impact of fibroids. So we will have some financial planners, individuals who have worked in the billing department for hospitals, also people who have worked with banks, so talking about all the different financial options you may have.
Insurance, yeah,
Yes, that you may have when it comes to not just fibroids, for any medical need
right.
going forward and what you have access to. And then our second conversation will be the mental and physical health part, where we'll have a provider to come speak, someone dealing with a lived experience
Yes.
when it comes to fibroid. And they also have an organization that deals with a women's group that deals with uterine fibroids and providing local supplies and resources and help. Um,
Okay.
and so, yes, that is what we'll have on staff. And also, I believe we might have some vendors coming through.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
going to ask. Do you have space available for vendors?
we
And
do.
if so, how can people get information on that?
Yeah, so if they can contact us at, and I'm gonna see if I can.
And you know what? If you actually can send the QR code to me, I can make sure I put it in the comments too.
Absolutely. I will send y'all where people can register for it, and
Okay.
as well as our my email address. It is Khanay, KHANAY at BJLI, and I will put this out here
Yeah.
for you all to, for any vendors. We are still taking them at this moment.
Awesome.
So you still get a little shopping. Definitely for our black owned businesses, small
Yes.
businesses. We
And
love to support
like I
it.
was telling you, Kanae, a lot of our audience, mine and Rebecca's, a lot of our audience are teachers.
Yeah.
And teachers, a lot of times there are things that we talk about at school, and there's some things that we don't even have the time to sit and talk about, even though some of our good friends are people that we meet there at school. We just don't have time to talk about that. And the sad part about that is we have so many shared experiences
Yeah.
that we're not even aware of. And this is something that is free.
Yes.
People can come out, and especially for something like this, when you come to something like this, you meet other people that you have something in common with, and they know your struggle.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing is through learning and advocating for yourself. I should have mentioned earlier, our whole institution is based on voter education, advocacy, and leadership development. And so we want to teach particularly Black women, who are the backbone of the community, how to advocate for themselves on the legislative level, on the local
Right.
level, on the
We talk about
national
that all the
level,
time.
all of that. In our health is policy. Our health is politics. We have
Yes.
seen how much it affects us. And recently, in particularly for this area, we're about to deal with redistricting.
Yes.
with it being attacked on Congressional District 9, which that is currently set by Representative Al Green. And
Right.
then most importantly, Congressional District 18. We have
18,
seen how
right.
they have
That's
pushed that
vacant.
back for election all the way to November. And now they want to tack it and remove it. And so we want you all to know, like, your health, all of this is connected back to who you
And
elect.
also with the removal and soon to be removal of Medicaid through
Yes.
this beautiful bill that is passed, Medicaid and CHIP. I can't call it what I really want to call it,
Yeah.
because Crystal will not let me. But I call it the BS bill.
We're family.
Yes.
That's what I call it. So, but that's cutting off a lot of services to women that rely on that for their healthcare services. Also, with the removal of Planned Parenthood, I have been talking and screaming till I'm blue in the face. Planned Parenthood is not just a place for
Absolutely.
abortion services. People get their health screening there, their
That's
cancer
right.
screening there. They are
Fibroid
a
screening.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a full-fledged medical institution.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And now it's being gutted because of one issue. That it's only a piece or a segment of what they do.
Absolutely small. And I initially had started with Planned Parenthood. When it came to when I first moved to Houston, when I was in law school, I was like, okay, I don't have a doctor yet, but it's time for me to get my birth control under the gas. Baby, I was right there at the Gulf Coast Planned Parenthood to get that treated. So it is amazing how they focus on one part and not on the holistic approach to women health.
Right. So, and all of these things. So, I'm so glad that your organization is also looking at the legislative aspect,
Right.
Because all of our health decisions is based on legislation, and a lot of people don't like to look at it from that lens, but that's what it is.
You're absolutely
You
right.
you have to, in order for you to look at your health decision, because you have to make your health decision based on the laws.
Yes.
And we have a lot of men who don't have uteruses making
All of
laws about body parts that they don't have.
Absolutely. And I will say this, and a family member of mine recently had a child, and they live in Seattle. And she was, and I had my wedding towards the end of April, and she was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it because one, getting close to the time of not flying on an airplane, but she was more concerned, like, I don't want to have my child in Texas because she deals with other illness. If something happened, I don't trust the doctors in Texas to do what they need to do. Even if it is an excellent doctor, it's because they have to follow the laws that our governor and legislature have put onto the books when it comes to just simply delivering a life.
Yes. Well, Kanae, let me say this. I want you, if you will, to reiterate what your forum is going to benefit, and because, like I said, a lot of teachers, a lot of school personnel and administration will look at this podcast and tell us again what this particular forum will benefit and how you all will be giving back to the schools in this way.
Absolutely. So join us July 19th, next Saturday from 10 to 2 o'clock p.m. at Trinity East United Methodist Church. This is a space for people, women with uterus, to have a conversation about how you can prepare for your fibroid procedures, for any other health procedure. How do you deal with those days off financially? And then the second conversation is about how can you help yourself mentally, emotionally, and other treatments that are out there for you to deal with this most critical yet common medical health condition. And we're asking you all, it's a free event, but we are asking you to donate some feminine hygiene products, some period products, so that we can give it back to some local schools in the area. Yes, for some local schools in the area. So we hope to see you all there.
And I'm going to refer back to the comments. Kathleen came on, and Kathleen made a really good point. She said there's so many homeless students out there too
It
who
is.
just don't have access. If you know that you're saying as a professional how expensive this is, I have students who come up to me on a daily basis, and they ask me for these products on a daily basis, which makes me know that they're not bringing it from home. They're
Right.
depending on what's being given to them at school.
Look, and I'm gonna tell you how it was for me. I had a drawer. This is the only time I allow students behind my desk.
Right.
So, but I had a drawer full. I used to bring to school, and I was like, if you
Mhm.
need it, get it, because sometimes some schools have to share a school nurse,
Yes.
so she might not have always been there, to get the
Or even
products
having to send a kid out
out
to
to
the
the
nurse. They
nurse.
have to wait 15 minutes before.
Right. So
Yeah.
I always kept the stash
Me too.
in my drawer.
Me too.
And I told them, hey, if you need it, you don't even have to come ask me. If you're behind my desk, I know why you're back there. Just come get what you need and go take care of your business.
And Kanae was able to go ahead and put a few things in the comments that are very, very important. We're going to put that flyer in the comments too, but she also put her email address. If you have a business that relates to women, that relates to women's health and self-care, this may be somewhere where you want to have a booth.
Absolutely.
So that you
We
have
have
access.
had many to come when it comes to lotions, body products, hair products.
Yes.
It is open for you all to come. If you are dealing with health insurance, please come.
Yes.
And interact with our group, and we hopefully you get some business from it, but most importantly, learn and participate in our wonderful forum.
Well, Kanae, I want to thank you so much. See, Rebecca, I told you we were going to have a good show today.
Yeah.
Well, next Saturday is going to be busy for us.
Yes.
Oh, and
Next
also,
Saturday,
Prieta is having her
back to school backpack drive.
back to school backpack drive at HCC, and I believe it's from 10. Everybody wants to start at 10 o'clock.
I know we do look. That is the golden time.
I think hers is from 10 to 4, 10 to 5. No, it's 10 to 4.
And we'll make sure we get some information from her,
Yeah.
so that we can kind of give people the heads up on that too.
Yeah.
But Kanae Turner Osborne, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to say this, and she probably does not want me to say this. I grew up with Kanae's mom.
Aww.
Yes. And her mom reached out to me last week and told me about the event. And I said that sounds like that's going to be excellent, because we're going to be having a podcast on health awareness.
Right.
So it fit right in, and I'm so glad that you could make time to bring this information to us. We'll make sure that we get this out there, Kanae. And let me ask you this: someone asked me this when I was talking to them. What is the cost for the vendors? And will they need their own tables, or?
They will need their own tables. Bring your own setup. Actually, it's no really a cost. We just ask that you could, if you could, a donation of $50, but it is technically free.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, Kanae Turner Osborne, Rebecca, we have Miss Deidre and Miss Danita from the Higher Way Church and the Mental Health Matters Forum. Y'all, what can you say about people who are pouring back into the community like this? Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for thinking of other people, and making these things free for the community.
Thank you for having this platform.
Oh, you are quite welcome. Well, Rebecca, like we say, all the time on our show. We have our connect. We have our own little thing that we do every week. But you're gonna get to see us do it today.
Okay.
But thank you. Kathleen says it's a great show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But like we say every week, guys, first of all, we're gonna make sure you patronize these forums that are coming up. These are for your benefit and they'll cost you nothing. But Rebecca, like we say every week, we can do it.
Bye,
See you
guys.
later.
Thank you.